So for the next section, section M, we have the bass drum, the space melody and the bass line all on the same section. We don't have the square melody, sort of like the pingy pong melody anymore. So what I've already done, if I go to pattern, bring up the patch on track 4, we have phrase number 15. Just take out a section and go to track 4, which is the space melody, which is that, and on 16 I've just got the bass drum only there. So on section number 2 we want to have a new bass line. So if I go to sorry, not section number 2, track number 2, we start off with a new phrase again, and this would be, it is literally just a G and a B, but there's certain points where it changes. So we'll program this in grid mode and we'll see how we get on as we go along. So if we come back out of that, we want this measure to be 8 in long, 8 measures long, so it runs over the course of the space melody, which is also 8 measures long. In record and in grid mode, and then play. So measure 1, we've got hold down shift, G, and we want it 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16. I think it's the same again on 2. We might have to play this a couple of times through just to get it right. Let's go for measure 3 as well. And let's just put it on measure 4 as well. 7, 8, 11, 12, 15 and 16. And then let's just have a run through of that. So it's on measure 5, and I missed, looks like I missed a measure there, so let's put it back on record and then play, and let's just go back to 4. Was it measure 3? Yes, there it is. So make sure we're still on the G and pop that in there, and then 4 is the same, and then 5 goes to the B and we pop that in same place every bar or every measure on the 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16, 6, oops, yep, 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16, and 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16. And then let's see what we've got. Okay, so that's basically that section done. That was pretty straightforward and simple. Okay, so I'm going to rename this new phrase, which is number 13. Let's just double check. Yep, number 13. So we know what it is. So if we head down to, just make sure you can see the LCD screen properly in this video. Phrase, and then phrase name on phrase 13. Let's call this, oops, bass. Should call it bass space because it sort of runs with that spacey pad kind of melody, and it fits quite nicely into the file, into the name. And no acknowledgement for that again, so let's go back to pattern. Okay, so that's that bit done. So now for section N, so we've got 13, 15 to remember that. So for section N, we'll do track, just take out a section, 16, no sorry, let's do 2 first, and let's have that as user phrase space bass, and then track 14, sorry, track 4, we want that to be space melody. There we go, and then that gives us. Now for track 16, we want a new phrase, only because this, we bring the ride cymbal back in with the bass drum. So we've got plenty of room to add, you know, a vast number of phrases. So let's program this in. So track 16, and then we're on no phrase, so we'll create a new phrase. I always like to start back in pattern, record in grid mode, and then obviously shift. Just make sure, yeah, it's definitely that one. I've got the right note selected, so let's play that. And then we want that to be on measure 1, 5, 9 and 13. And also we get the ride cymbal coming in on, which would be that one there, so E flat 2, and then that would be on all the offbeats, so 3, 7, 11 and 15. So that would give us that. So what we'll do is we'll make this measure 8 bars long as well, to reflect that space melody section and the bass section that accompanies it. So we are now up to section N, so that's that done. And then the next section would be like the closed hi-hats coming back in. So that would give us section O. And then we would patch this up again. Track 2 would be space bass. Track 4, let me just make sure, yep, track 4 would be space melody. Track 16 would be a new phrase, or we could copy from the existing phrase that we just done, but we'll punch it in manually because it's a 1 bar repetition or 1 measure repetition. So if I hit record, play, and then we want that kick drum on 1, 5, 9, 13, and that open ride cymbal, so 909 ride cymbal there, and then we want the closed hi-hat to be on every other step on the measure. So if we stop that, go back to the beginning, we should have. Okay, don't worry about the slide on the space melody at the beginning, that's only because it's coming from the last note that was touched, which was me just having a little practice that the track was on the correct sound. But obviously when you're playing this, it will carry on and flow naturally. So that is section O done. Next section, basically the snare drum comes back in. So what we're going to do first is just go back and rename some of the phrases that we've created. So if I go to patch and go back to 0, select track 2, that's already named, select track 4, it's already named, and then track 16 is not named. So that is the bass drum, the closed hi-hat and the ride cymbal. So job, phrase name, phrase 17, let's just put in bass drum, ride cymbal, and then the closed hi-hat. Oh, where we go? Closed hi-hat. Okay, that's that one done. And then on section N, phrase 14 hasn't got a name, 2's got a name, 4's got a name, it's 16 hasn't, and that is just bass drum and ride cymbal. So job, phrase name, and then this would be bass drum and ride cymbal. Acknowledge that. So then section M would be that's already done because that's bass drum only. So what we can do now is just go ahead on section P and put in on track 2 the space bass, bass space even. On track 4 we can put in the space melody, and then on track 16 we want a new phrase now. So let's just on P take it out of section, and then on pattern hit record, grid mode, press play, and for this we want, again, hold down shift, we want that kick drum to be on 1, 5, 9, 13, we want this ride cymbal to be on 3, 7, 11 and 15, and we want the closed hi-hat, which is that one, to be on every other step. And now we want the snare coming in, so it was that nice snappy snare, and that needs to go on 2 and 4, which, as you know, is now by now is 5 and 13. That would give us okay, so that's that done.